welcome to another edition of Darn Adele's Kitchen. Adele and I will be preparing one of our favorite holiday meals, Beef Wellington. Now, this evening though, we're doing the preparation phase. And in this one, we're going to prepare this 2-pound beef Wellington, beef tenderloin, for the beef Wellington that we got from Charlie's Meat Market here in Memphis, Tennessee, on Summer Avenue. It's a 2-pounder. And we are going to be preparing this for basically marinating during the evening for tonight. And the entire preparation phase for the entire meal itself is about 4 hours. Because along with the beef tenderloin, we're also going to be making mash, which is potato and turnip concoction, that I'll be making by hand. And as well as a little bit of vegetables, which will be shiitake mushrooms, pearl onions, and some broccoli, which will be sauteed. But here, we're going to be preparing the meat to put in the refrigerator overnight. Now, these are some of the items we're going to be using. We're going to be using about 2 tablespoons each of spices. In this case, we're using red pepper, white pepper, chili pepper, as well as black pepper. Now, for your beef Wellington, I suggest use whatever spices you want. These are the spices we're going to use because this is what we like. Additionally, a little bit of olive oil that we're going to rub all over the beef tenderloin itself. And this is optional. This is what I did because this is how I learned how to use it. I'm going to be using this twine to tie up the beef tenderloin itself, to basically for the searing process when I sear it. It's much easier for me to use for searing once I tie it up. Okay, and then a little bit of Pam. The reason why I'm using the Pam here is to spray it on the bottom, so it's much easier to handle, and that's the reason why. So again, this is a 2-pound beef tenderloin. Now the recipe I am using is good for up to 3 pounds. Now, if you decide to use a 4-pound beef tenderloin, I suggest cut it in half. Okay, because 2-pounder to 3-pounder is much easier to maneuver in an oven and to prepare. If you want to use a 4-pounder, just cut it in half and just make 2 beef Wellingtons. Now, the entire preparation time for everything is about 4 hours. That includes the cooking time, which is less than an hour. So, just just stand by and I will do the preparation phase. So I'll be right back. Alright, now I just want to show you guys, once you've tied it off into 2-inch segments, or you can't figure out 2 inches, like 3 fingers if you got skinny fingers like I do. If you got really fat fingers or really thick ones, manly man fingers, then basically 2 fingers. But I got skinny fingers, so. Or as one sergeant said before I totally really messed his mind up with how great I was. He says, "You got dainty fingers, man." And then I really wowed him on the demolition course. But anyway, so here we are. We have prepared this. Now we're going to go to the next part of the preparation, and this is also optional. I like using olive oil though, because it helps stick everything. Use about a tablespoon right there, and you rub down the meat. Now this is the beef tenderloin. This is like the most tender part of the cow. And it's so nice. It's good, I guarantee. But anyway, you prepare this, and as I mentioned before on the preparation when I tied this off, the string and all that, the twine, that is also optional, but this helps me in the searing process. And since we're going to be marinating this overnight, now these are the spices I'll be using, which is black pepper, red pepper, white pepper, chili peppers. Use whatever spice you want though. Now you can use salt, use whatever you want, man. Me, this is what I use. Now the entire preparation time for beef Wellington for 2 pounds is about 4 hours. That includes cooking. Now cooking is less than an hour. But for everything else, preparation, that includes your Stay Puft, your Puff cooking sheets, baking sheets and all that. and everything else. Everything takes about 4 hours if you're going to do it right. Remember, you want to do everything right. And we will be keeping this overnight. Make sure you put your spices all over. And the only thing the olive oil does is keeps it on the meat. But use whatever oil you want. Some people don't even use any oil at all. Just to moisturize the meat, but hey, I'm all about olive oil. I love olive oil. I use it on everything. Okay, we are done with this part of the preparation. We're going to put a paper towel on top, and then we're just going to let it marinate overnight. So we will see you guys tomorrow on Christmas Day. And by the way, Merry Christmas everybody, and have a Happy New Year.
Yay!
From my house to yours. Merry Christmas. Right, Hale?
Right, Merry Christmas.
And our animals say Merry Christmas too. Right, Zig? And we are back for cooking a Beef Wellington for Christmas Day, and again, Merry Christmas. Now, these are some of the ingredients we'll be using for today. And some of the things, like here we have our russet potatoes and our turnip when I make mash for Adele and I. And plus other things too, like for the gravy I'll be making. And of course the bruschetta ham that I'm going to be wrapping around the beef tenderloin today. And these are the puff pastry sheets. I already took one out. I just want to show you this. This is what we're going to be using also for the Beef Wellington. As well as some of the other things. 1.5 pounds of baby bella mushrooms, but you can use any kind of mushrooms you want to use for the duxelles, which is the kind of paste we're going to be making using this, green onions, garlic, sweet peppers, which are still in the refrigerator because we don't have a lot of room here, and the shallots, and other things we're doing. This is of course the broccoli, because Adele and I, for our vegetables today, I'll be actually sauteing with the broccoli, pearl onions, and shiitake mushrooms, which we love mushrooms. So while I'm making the duxelles paste, since some people have asked me what happens if somebody has a allergy to mushrooms, so I'll be telling you some other alternate stuff you can use to replace the mushrooms. Additionally, too, high quality Dijon mustard that Adele and I will be using for the meat itself. Some people have asked me also, and I'll be explaining it while I'm rubbing it on there, or actually painting it on there, brushing it on there. Some people have said that what do you use in case somebody in their family is allergic to mustard seed? So I'll tell you some alternative stuff you can use also. So we'll be back in a second to begin the preparation and the cooking. Additionally, today's cooking aid is a Manila Gold, Philippine Gold San Miguel beer. Some people even call it Chinese Gold. And actually, we have our assistant sous chef, William Henry, here with us. Right, William Henry?
William Henry.
So we'll be right back in a second. Okay, well, first thing we're going to do is we are going to sear our tenderloin. We're going to use a little bit of olive oil. Just a bit of olive oil to sear our tenderloin. I'll put it on number 6. And as soon as it starts smoking, we will sear it on all sides, including the ends. So I'll just wait for this to start smoking a bit. Let me turn some light on. And we shall wait for it to start. But I want to show you the meat right here. We had this chilled overnight to marinate. And again, spices we use was black pepper, red pepper, white pepper, and chili pepper. And you can definitely smell the spices. Now once we seared it and everything else, then we'll let it set out for a bit, cut the strings off, and then we're basically going to cover it with a really good high quality Dijon mustard. Now the mustard we use is basically to help seal in the flavor, and when we start putting the paste on it, or the duxelles. Now if you have family who are allergic to mustard seed, then you can use horseradish, creamy horseradish sauce, or basically use your imagination. You can also use, like, say, Worcestershire sauce, teriyaki sauce, whatever. Use your imagination. Then we'll go through other alternative ideas too. You can use to cover that meat. Meanwhile, our sous chef is demanding equal time.
Hey, Henry? Yeah.
So we're waiting for the olive oil to start smoking, then it'll be ready to start searing.
Yeah. He wants his canned food.
Ah.
That's what he wants.
Okay, turn it off. Okay, now the olive oil is starting to smoke. Now we're going to start the searing process. So you get your tongs, you get this, and we start searing. Now you want to do is like sear it on both sides, all around for about 2 to 3 minutes. You want to get it nice and brown. Make sure you want to get the ends too. So remember, 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, all over. So play it by ear. I'm watching the clock. And also you want to get both ends too. Because remember, it's the beef tenderloin. It's the tenderest part of a cow. But it really doesn't have that much flavor. So you got to add the flavor to it. That's where marinating comes in. Now some people, they just start cooking straight out of the package. That's fine too. Whatever floats your boat. Adele and I, we love to marinate. Now, like I said yesterday, the twining or tying the stringer on, that's an optional. I always do it. And it just helps when I do the searing. Keeps the meat together. Keeps it from breaking. Look how nice it is. And, oh man, you can smell the spices not coming out of the meat. It smells really good. But remember, 2 to 3 minutes all over to sear it. Locks in the juices. Then after we're done with this part, we are going to cover the whole thing in a good quality Dijon mustard, or use whatever mustard you want to use. Remember to sear both ends. Again, 2 to 3 minutes. And constantly turn it around. And when you get done searing, leave the juices there alone. Leave whatever excess olive oil. It's going to taste good when you make a duxelles. You'll add butter in there. And what you're making is a nice, good paste. Because eventually you're going to wrap all that around the meat. Then you're going to put it back in the refrigerator for like 40 minutes to an hour. We're going to keep it in there for a whole hour. And during that hour, that's when Adele and I are going to make the mash. The rest of the veggies. But we're going to make the mash. Actually, we're going to cut potatoes and all that. And get everything ready. Because once everything chills into the beef Wellington itself, then we're going to put it into the oven. Preheat the oven to 425. And then the minimum you need to cook it for is 40 minutes. We're going to cook it for about a little under an hour because we like our meat medium well. A lot of people like their meat medium. We like ours medium well. So the more well you want your meat, the more done you want your meat, the longer you keep it in the oven. But remember, sear it well. You're almost done searing it. And we're pretty much done. Put it back in here. Turn this off. And then we're going to do the mustard portion. We're going to cut the strings off. Get the mustard. The brush. And this right here is the pastry puff. It's thawing right now. And what we're going to do now is cut the strings off. And you can smell the spices on here. What do you think, Adele?
Yeah, it smells spicy.
Yeah. It smells very good. Now, some people have told me that their kids are allergic to mustard seed. Use a horseradish sauce. You can also make a. You can also use mayonnaise. I've seen people do that. Again, our cooking aid.
San Miguel.
San Miguel beer. Philippine Gold. You can also use nothing at all if you don't want to use mustard. Oh, but look at that! Look at that, man. That's so nice. Now we're gonna brush a good quality Dijon mustard to this sucker. Doesn't have to be thick. But just enough. Now we like ours, we like to put ours there to light. Some people like heavy mustard. We put ours to light. And we are done with this part.
Mixed all done.
Oops. The top of this. Where we got basically portobello mushrooms, and use whatever mushrooms you want. Some sweet pepper, some shallot, some garlic, and then we are going to mince this down, pulse it into nice itty bitty bits, and stick it all in the bowl. And do this all over again.
Okay.
Alright, now what we are getting ready to make is the duxelles, which will be the paste that will go on top of the bruschetta ham, and then will be wrapped around the tenderloin meat itself. Now this is basically a pint and a half of portobello mushrooms, but you can use whatever mushrooms you want. 6 small sweet peppers, 2 shallots, about 8 green onions, 1 bulb of garlic, about 8 small twigs of thyme, and I think that's it. What else do we add on here, honey? That's it, right?
I think that's it, yeah.
Yep, that is it. So most of this is mushrooms. Now, some people are allergic to mushrooms or they hate mushrooms. You can use basically the same amount of chestnuts.
Oh, yeah.
And someone said they hated chestnuts.
Yeah.
Alright, I would suggest, I knew this one guy, and it worked really well. It tasted really good. Use rice that was cooked, and bacon and Parmesan cheese. Worked really well, and it was good. Now here we're going to cook this until it becomes a nice paste. And then we are just going to rub this over the bruschetta ham. Then we're going to put the tenderloin on top of it. And then that'll be it. Then we put the log on top, the tenderloin, and then we're going to wrap it up. Then put it in the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then we are going to prepare the puff pastry. And then Adele and I are going to cut up the potato and peel the turnip and just put it in the pot, let it soak in water. Then take a little break and prepare to basically we're going to let all this soak in. This is the olive oil and the butter. Put a stick of butter in here. Put a half stick. Make sure it's unsalted butter. It's all going to soak up and become a nice paste.
And how much olive oil?
Oh, it's whatever you put in. It's basically 3 tablespoons of olive oil that we use to sear the meat.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what's in here. So you just leave it in there. What's here coming out here is just liquid. Water coming out of the paste itself. What you want is for all the water to disappear and just leaving behind the paste. So basically what we're going to do is wait for all the water to disappear. And let the paste, all the mushrooms, which is what you want really. The mushroom is there to soak up the butter. The seasonings, like the pepper and all that we have, that we already have from the meat. Now a lot of recipes tell you to add salt and pepper. We already have that in the meat that we put in here. And the meat already has it. Which had been marinating overnight, so it's already in here. But if you want, you can add whatever other spices you want in here. But like I said, what we want to do here is basically keep stirring this until it becomes a nice firm paste that we can put on the bruschetta ham, which is to my side here. We spread it all over the ham, and then
But what we're doing right now is getting all the water out of the vegetables here. So what we want is a nice dry paste. So just keep stirring it until it stops bubbling. Until there is no more liquid. You can use any type of a skillet. I love using my medium iron skillet. And one of these days, when I move and we have a bigger kitchen, I will have a very large iron skillet. So you come back and join us once you get ready to rub this on the bruschetta ham. And very good. You want to taste here?
Yeah.
Here we have the water. It's almost 99.99% gone. So we're going to turn it off and let it cool for a bit before we actually spread it on the bruschetta ham. Now, as I explained before on the bruschetta ham, let's go back over here, is you lay out like this. We got 12 pieces, which is enough for a 2-pound tenderloin. And what you do is like you lay it down just like this and make sure you overlap it. And then in about 5 minutes, we're going to come back. It should be cooled down in about 5 minutes, enough for me to spread it. And use a liberal spread, because when we lay the tenderloin on top, then we're going to roll it up. Then once we roll it up, we're going to put it in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes to let it set nice and firm. Then I'm going to put this pastry puff, and with a roller pin, we'll put some flour here on the cutting board, then put this on top, and then get an egg wash, and you'll see the rest of the procedure. And then once I wrap the tenderloin in the pastry puff, we're going to put it back in the refrigerator for about 20-30 minutes, maybe an hour, while we get the turnip and the russet potatoes together and let them soak for a bit. Because after we take the beef Wellington out, we are definitely going to prepare it in the oven for 425 degrees. And we're going to preheat the oven to that and put it in there. And since Adele loved our beef Wellington medium well, normally for medium, you want to keep it there for 40 minutes. We're going to keep ours there for about 50 minutes because we like ours medium well. 50 minutes to an hour. Just remember, the more you want your meat well, the longer you keep it in the oven. That's all I got to tell you. Okay?
Okay.
We'll be right back. Okay, now we have gotten the mixture itself. Now we're going to spread it on the bruschetta ham. So be liberal when you do this. Remember, you want to coat the entire ham. We have spread the duxelles here. Now we're getting rolled up with the beef tenderloin itself. Alright. Now we have the beef tenderloin. We put it here. Now, we try to get it centered. Now, some recipes tell you to try to get your ham to where your beef tenderloin is perfectly inside, where the ham is like sticking outside. I'm here to tell you, you don't exactly have to get it perfect. Alright? Take from me, you don't have to get it perfect. Now comes, for me, the most difficult part is rolling it up. So, here's how we do it. We roll it up just like this. You want to try to get it as tight as you can, because we're going to put it in the refrigerator and let it sit there for a while. Alright?
Yeah.
If some of that paste comes out, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's alright. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's going to sit in the refrigerator and it's going to set for a while. For about 20 to 30 minutes. And then all of this is going to go into the pastry.
Yeah.
Now we took a lot of this loose ends in the middle. Now we have this rolled up and we put it in the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes. And we just let it sit there until and we get the rest of everything ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, what we're doing now is getting the potatoes ready for our mash, and what we're doing is like 3 russet potatoes and a turnip. Now with the turnip, you cut both ends off, and always peel the skin because, well, the skin of a turnip really tastes like crap. That's all I gotta say about that. But anyway, so you can choose to peel the skin off a potato. Adele and I, we prefer skin on.
Yeah, skin on.
Because it has a lot of minerals and we just prefer it that way. So anyway, we're gonna boil the potatoes. So always cut it like, in cubes, squares, whatever. Just make sure you cut it like that. So that it's just easier to cook. Gets them softer. That's what we do. And then with the turnips, just make sure that you cut off both ends. And peel. Always peel the skin. And with these ends right here, you put it, let it soak. Now we're going to start the potatoes in about 30 minutes. What we're going to do is let them soak for a bit.
Yeah.
And if you want to, you can also add about a tablespoon of salt. And that way it helps leaches out the minerals and stuff in there. We don't add any extra salt.
Yeah.
But if you want to, you can. So like I said, for Adele and me, we leave skin on. That's how we prefer it. But we will start the potatoes as soon as we pull the tenderloin out. That's already wrapped in prosciutto ham, and it's got the duxelle paste on there. And next part we're going to do is we're going to take this puff pastry. We're going to put a little bit of flour on our work surface, so that way I'm going to use a rolling pin, the same rolling pin my wife uses on me all the time. And we're going to basically roll down, make it flat. Puff pastry is the best way to do that, unless you have some of those guys, who can make their own from scratch. I prefer using puff pastry. It's just much easier. And once that's set, we're going to put it on top of here. Make our egg wash. So we put the egg wash on the sides. Then we're just going to roll it up. Once we roll it up, we're going to put some more plastic wrapping on it. And then put it back in the refrigerator. Let it cool down for about 20 to 30 minutes. In some cases to an hour. But it's getting late, so, well, late for us because we want to see a movie on TV. So I'll probably keep it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Once it's set, then we take it out, put more egg wash on it, then we'll go through the steps. Preheat the oven to 425 degrees, and then put it in the oven. In our case, for about 50 minutes to an hour. Depending on how you like your tenderloin. If you keep it in there for 40 minutes at an internal temperature of about 120 degrees, that's rare. Adele and I, we like ours well, medium well, so that's at 140 degrees internal temperature. Okay, between 140 and 150. So if you like yours well done, it's going to be between 150 and 155. But Adele and I, we like ours medium well, so between 140 and 150. So that's what we're going to do. So that's about 50 minutes to an hour of cooking at 425 degrees. And again, we'll go through this. But we'll be right back as soon as I get the potatoes and turnip ready and soaking. We'll be right back. Okay, here's what I've already basically dusted the work area here, my working area, with flour. And now I'm taking the puff pastry and I'm going to roll it out. Using the roller pin my wife got me. Basically, she got it for herself to use on me. I'm a bad boy. Right, dear?
That's right. Totally.
puff pastry is what I use when I make beef Wellington. And we're going to roll this out. And then in about 5 minutes, we're going to pull the beef Wellington out. And then we're going to put it in the pastry. But right now, we're going to roll this out wide. I told Adele one of these days we will have. She told me we'll have a bigger kitchen. A bigger work area to work in.
That'd be excellent.
Okay, and we will be right back in a few minutes once I've got this rolled out, and we will roll the entire tenderloin in this pastry. Then we're going to wrap it up again, put it in the refrigerator. Okay, now I'm doing the egg wash. We've taken the beef tenderloin out and I've laid it on the roll on the pastry. Now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put the egg wash here. Here and here. Then we're going to roll this up, and we are definitely, after I roll this up, we're going to put it back in the refrigerator. Okay. Think of it like a giant burrito. That's what we're doing. Now what we're going to do is wrap it up in plastic again. Anything excess, like this, you can add things like this if you see a hole. Shazam. You can cut extras or just add it. You can trim it or just do what I do and just use it. Okay, honey, now get some more plastic out. We're going to wrap this tight and put it back in the refrigerator, okay?
Okay.
Now we put this back in the pan. Now we're going to set it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Then we're going to put some more egg wash on top. Okay, honey. And then, as you see here, we got the potatoes soaking. Egg wash, we're going to use that again before we put it in the oven. And we're going to use a clean tray.
Yeah.
Put it in the oven. Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to put this in the refrigerator for 30 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Now Adele and I have gotten out of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Now we are going to transfer it gingerly to the other tray.
Yeah.
So, like I said, gingerly. Because it can still break. We don't want it to break though. And ta-da. Perfect. Now, on this pan right here, we already sprayed the bottom with no stick pan.
Yeah.
A little tight. Now we're going to paint the rest of it with
The egg.
egg wash. Which has natural healing ingredients. Make sure you get the ends and everything. And do a generous covering. Now some people like to flip it over and do the other side. You don't have to, that's why I put the pan on the bottom. But like I said, a generous covering. And then the last bit, and everybody adds it, is just a hint of salt. Just a hint though, in our case. Some may add a whole bunch. We just add a hint on ours. And then you just add a hint of salt. Some add heavy, we just add a hint on ours. And then you pop it in the oven.
Yay.
And let me get that spot. I just found a spot there that I missed. Another one I missed right here. Alright, now it's ready to go in the oven. Okay, honey.
Okay.
Let's pop open the oven.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, we're gonna pop it into the oven. And we're gonna leave it there for about 50 minutes. And put that in there. Now remember, for rare, it's 120 degrees at 40 minutes. For medium well, the way my wife and I like it, it's between 140 and 150 minutes. Somewhere around that range. So you want to keep it there between 50 minutes and an hour. We're going to set the oven up and our timer for 50 minutes. And then we'll check the temperature gauge. Other than that, we're now going to start the potatoes and the turnip for our mash. And that takes anywhere between 25 to 30 minutes to get everything soft, particularly the turnip. So we start that, and then now I'm just going to get the vegetables ready for sauteing, which would be our broccoli. We're not using that whole broccoli. Shiitake mushrooms and pearl onions.
Yeah.
And I got one small clove of
Garlic.
I'm just going to chop up in little bits. And we're going to saute that all in here.
Okay.
And then the last thing we're going to make is the gravy, which is real easy. It's basically a 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of butter, 2 cups of beef broth, 1 bouillon cube, and then maybe a little bit of pepper. You can add salt, pepper, whatever you want to add to it, and that just takes a couple of minutes once you get everything boiling. And that's it. Then it's bon appetit.
Yeah.
So we'll be feasting soon. So Adele's going to take some video snippets of like making the mash and doing our veggies. Other than that, we'll be feasting soon. So stand by. Now these are the vegetables I'll be sauteing for Adele and me. This will go with our main meal with the mash and the Beef Wellington, and with mash and gravy. And this will be basically broccoli, pearl onions, shiitake mushrooms, and we took 1 clove of garlic and chopped it up nicely. And like I said, this will be sauteed in olive oil. Might add some spices to it. Maybe some red pepper. Don't know yet. Haven't decided. As well as black pepper. Other than that, this will all be sauteing later.
Yeah. And olive oil.
That's right. So Adele, how you like making mash?
Meh.
In other words, you'd rather see me doing it?
Yeah.
Because see, you're almost done now.
Yeah.
That's nice chunky. That's why we like it.
Yeah.
But go ahead and just mash it for a couple more minutes. But like I said, but you're almost done. Oh man, it feels good too. You can smell it. We added just a little bit of milk. We added like a 1/4 cup of milk. Soy milk. Adele likes soy milk. And I've learned to enjoy the taste of it.
That's regular milk.
Oh, that's regular milk? I thought it was soy milk.
Yeah.
Okay, so my bad. Regular milk. But look at that. Yep, that is mash. 3 russet potatoes and 1 turnip. We'll be back in a little bit. We are sauteing the vegetables right now and using up what's left of the egg wash. Waste not, want not. And these are the vegetables we're going to eat with our main course, the Beef Wellington. And we already made the mash on our main video. This is the what it does when we posting on Facebook, and also we're going to use part of this too on our video we'll be making tomorrow. But this is the sauteing part for the vegetables we will be eating with our main course. And this will be our shiitake mushrooms, Brussels sprouts, pearl onions, and we also added some extra spices, which is black pepper, onion powder. What else did you add here, honey?
Red pepper,
Yeah,
black
red pepper.
pepper. Yeah, garlic powder.
Okay, so some good stuff. Anyway, the sauteing is done. I shall add this. And we sauteed it in pure olive oil, which is beautiful. Healthy for you. And really sauteing only takes a couple minutes. And like I said, pretty soon we will hear the alarm that the Beef Wellington is done, but we're still going to check it. Because, you know, rare is 120 degrees internal temperature. Adele and I, we like ours medium well, so that's between 140 and 150. So we had the oven set for 50 minutes. But if you like yours rare, it's 40 minutes with an internal temperature of 120. So we'll be right back as soon as our Wellington is done. But we just wanted to get our veggies up with a little bit of fried egg. Oh, this is the mash, by the way, we just made. Adele and I just made. It is good, I guarantee. Russet potatoes and 1 turnip. Got it, Adele?
Sure did.
Only thing I gotta make now is the gravy. Talk to you guys soon. We're making the gravy now. So we're taking a 1/4 cup of butter, letting it melt. And then, honey, can you hand me the flour? I'll teach you guys how to make beef gravy. Not a great deal. But here, do this, then you add a 1/4 cup of flour. Stirring it into the butter. Then you add 2 cups of beef broth. But you keep stirring that in, stir that in, stir that in, stir that in with a whisk, and you add more flour. Whisk that in, add more beef broth. Stir that in, stir that in, stir that in, stir that in. Keep stirring that in, keep stirring that in. Whisk, 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 whisk. Make sure you get the chunks out. Add the last bit of flour in there. Now you're done with the flour. Add the last bit of the beef broth. Keep stirring that in. Whisk it, whisk it, whisk it, whisk it. And then you get your 1 bouillon cube. Okay, 1 bouillon cube. And crush it in there. That just gives you more taste from a concentrated form. And then just whisk away. And then you can just feel the consistency as it gets a bit thicker. But what you want is to get rid of the chunks. That's why you just keep whisking. In about 6 minutes, it'll ring. And then we'll go check the Beef Wellington. So long as it's between 140 and 150, we're done. Look at that gravy. What do you think of that gravy, huh?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yes, it is. And you can add like more pepper or whatever. I mean, it's pretty good the way it is. What you want to do is whisk away any globules of flour. Definitely can smell the aroma from the Beef Wellington. I can smell the sweet peppers. Okay, honey, you want to get our plates out?
Yeah.
Get our plates out, honey.
Okay.
And it is done. It is perfect. Golden brown. And it is at 155 degrees internal temperature. So it is medium well, the way Dale and I like it. And we'll be ready to feast and as soon as I fix Adele's plate. All right. Let's check it out. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that, man. We're going to be feasting, dear. All right. Here you go, my love. A feast for an empress like you.
Aw.
Merry Christmas and bon appetit, my love.
Yeah.
Bon appetit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.